Today, the job market recovery gaining momentum as the unemployment rate falls to its lowest level in 18 months. Etsy thriving as other businesses suffer. E-commerce platform seems immune to supply shortages. In fact, it may be benefiting from them. And Google parent Alphabet is building a new lab in the United Kingdom. It'll use AI to discover new drugs. That and much more coming up on NTD Business. Good evening. Great to have you with us. I'm Paul Graney. America's jobs recovery looks to be gathering steam. The Labor Department says October's unemployment rate fell to 4.6%. That's the lowest level since April 2020. U.S. employers added over 530,000 jobs last month, easily outpacing predictions. The gains were across the board. Here's what the president had to say.
There's a lot more to be done. We still have to tackle the costs that American families are facing. But this recovery is faster, stronger, and fairer and wider than almost anyone could have predicted.
Industries leading the job gains include leisure and hospitality, hardest hit by the pandemic, manufacturing, transportation, and warehousing. But the measure of people working or actively looking for work remained unchanged over the month. That raises a key question. Will these workers ever return? So joining us to discuss the jobs report is Sarah Gordon, Customer Success Manager at Adecco. Adecco is one of the largest human resources providers in the world, in fact. Sarah, great to see you again. How have you been?
I've been great, Paul. How have you been?
Oh, all good here at NTD. Good. In New York City, we still see help wanted signs in almost every window. We speak with business owners all the time. They're still struggling to find talent. Is there any change, or are you expecting any change on the horizon?
You know, the jobs report that we just got today is super encouraging. We've seen a big number posted, and it really beat expectations, which is great news. What I can tell you on the flip side, though, is according to Indeed, there's still 48% more job postings this time, right at this moment in time, than there were in February of 2020. So we're still seeing incredible demand that is outpacing supply. So we will continue to see that piece of really trying to re-engage the workforce as we continue to see encouraging growth.
How are employers feeling when you speak with them? Are they anxious about the situation? Yeah. Are they feeling increasingly confident, or?
I think anxiety is the right word. We're in what we would call our traditional October, November, December peak seasonality, which means that we are making the holidays kind of happen, you know, putting a lot of people to work, getting packages out. And every customer that I speak with is concerned because the bottom line is, Paul, we're seeing about a third of the applies that we saw same period last year. So that's a really concerning metric when you get down to it, because it just means that folks are not engaging in the same job searching behavior they once were, and we're not sure that they ever will. So we've talked before about meeting candidates where they're at. The anxiety has really spurred some creativity around how to get into the local market, be more engaged with the community, make sure that the employer value proposition really speaks to the types of candidates people are trying to attract. And then, you know, I think it's very interesting to look at how the dynamic between employee and employer has really shifted during this time, where employers are becoming much more employee-centric. And so ensuring that folks understand the mission, vision, values, and what they're going to work to do every day and how that impacts the lives of others is also super critical.
Very good. Sarah Gordon, Adecco, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
And in the markets today, the S&P 500 scored another record high, booked a solid week of gains following a strong jobs report. Gained 17 points, about 0.4%. Dow rose 204 points, about 0.6%. The Nasdaq gained 31 points, about 0.2% today. But one of the biggest losers of the post-lockdown world is Peloton. It builds exercise bikes and treadmills for at-home workouts, but business seems to be going in reverse. Its stock price plummeted by a third today after reporting terrible earnings late Thursday. Equipment sales fell by 17% last quarter, even after the company lowered the price of its entry-level bike. Still sells for almost $1,500. Peloton's revenue did manage to grow 6% to over $800 million, but that's less than what analysts expected. Company CEO says it's because people are returning to gyms. The numbers seem to confirm that. Planet Fitness saw its stock jump 12% Thursday. Meanwhile, Peloton stock is on track to lose almost 70% of its value this year. And Pfizer says its experimental COVID-19 pill can reduce the risk of hospitalization and death. An analysis by the company shows a combination of the experimental pill and an older antiviral drug reduced the risk of hospitalization or death by 89%, is the company's CEO.
Today we are announcing a pill that treats those, unfortunately, that they get the disease. It is significant. That means that instead of having among this group of people 10 going to hospital, only 1 will go. And likely very few, if any, will die.
The data hasn't been peer-reviewed or published. The drug was tested in adults who'd been showing symptoms for 3 to 5 days, and less than 1% of patients who received it went to the hospital within 4 weeks, as compared to 7% who got placebos. 7 people who were treated with placebos died. No one who got the treatment died, according to Pfizer. The company says it's planning to share more specifics in a peer-reviewed paper and in its submission to the FDA. We don't know when that'll be yet. Remdesivir, an intravenous infusion, is currently the only antiviral approved for COVID-19 treatment in the United States. And despite what you may have read today, you won't be able to use Bitcoin Cash to pay at Kroger this holiday season. It says a press release posted on its website was fake. Kroger uses another company to handle its press releases, but PR Newswire hasn't explained how the hoax happened. The press release had already been taken down by this afternoon. Bitcoin Cash differs from Bitcoin as the two operate on different networks. Bitcoin Cash carries lower transaction fees. And this is the second recent crypto lie to involve a major retailer. Walmart was the subject of a fake press release September. And California says it will increase the amount of natural gas stored at a Los Angeles area facility by about 20%. It's the state's latest move to relax environmental rules and shore up energy supplies. Comes even after many in the state have pressed to close the facility outright. It's the state's biggest underground storage field and it experienced a massive months-long leak 6 years ago. California has restricted the growth of fossil fuel infrastructure for years, but more and more the state has looked to natural gas for power generation after energy shortages. So joining us to discuss winter heating bills is Don Whaley. He's the president of Ohm Connect Texas. Ohm Connect helps Americans save money on their energy bills. Whaley himself is a 35-year energy industry veteran. Don, great to see you once again. We see, how's things been over the past month or so? Last time we spoke, we were pretty pessimistic about the outlook for American heating bills coming into the winter. Looking at the changes over the past month, any improvement at all?
Actually, yeah, it's one of those, it's the same, but it's a better version of the same. I think the last time we spoke, gas prices were hovering in the low to mid $6 range. As of yesterday, they closed in the mid fives. The driving force behind that has been demand for liquefied natural gas in Europe and in Asia. As supplies in Europe have built a little bit, some of that pressure's come off. So they broke the $30 mark, but they went under the $30 mark this week, I believe. And I think best of all for our outlook is that because we really haven't had a winter so far in October, it was very mild, our in-ground storage, which is our backup supply for the surge demand in winter, has been able to catch up a good bit. It's not there. We're about 8% behind where we were this time last year and about 2% behind the 5-year average. But those numbers, even though we're under, are still much improved from where they were a month ago. So cautiously optimistic that the winter doesn't come roaring in and blow all the prices up.
Yeah. We see in California on the inventory side for the first time, I don't know if you read the news this morning, but California are going to increase their capacity somewhat, I believe, in one of their centers by 20%. It's a big reversal of a trend we've seen over the past number of years. Is this a trend you're seeing elsewhere in the economy as we start to realize maybe pushing too far away from fossil fuels too fast may be a bad idea in the short run?
Well, I think that the physics associated with electricity generation is going to finally be the determinant of what we do. The Public Utility Commission of Texas just yesterday, I was at an open hearing, and we came to realize that we're going to reach a point where we've built so much solar. Solar has never been curtailed. By that I mean, you can turn down different forms of generation, but generally, well, not generally, in all instances, wind and solar, if they can produce, they produce. But there's a physical limitation to how much solar or wind you can have on the system in relation to thermal generation, rotating mass. And we realized that with the massive ramp up in solar we're going to have in Texas, it's not too far in the future where we're going to have to curtail it to sustain system reliability and integrity. And I think that may be what they're dealing with in California. I did not read the news, but that doesn't surprise me.
Interesting. Don Whaley, Own Connect Texas. Appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
An American natural gas company, Venture Global, has signed a record-breaking deal with China. The company will provide over 80 million tons of gas to China's Sinopec. The deal will last 20 years and is worth over $30 billion, the biggest long-term deal ever signed by an American company for liquefied natural gas. It also makes the company the top American liquefied natural gas exporter to China. Its CEO told CNBC they're focused on production efficiency and giving customers the lowest prices. Venture Global will source its gas from its plant in Louisiana. The gas is likely to aid China's energy crisis. And so while many businesses are facing tough times on supply shortages, craft e-commerce platform Etsy is thriving. What's it doing right? NTD's Faye Quarter explains.
Supply shortages. What supply shortages? In its most recent quarter, e-commerce company Etsy beat estimates with earnings per share of 62 cents, while analysts expected 54 cents. And they reported revenues of $532 million, while analysts expected $519 million.
Last year, Etsy dramatically outperformed e-commerce industry benchmarks. Now, in 2021, we're lapping that performance with flying colors, reinforcing the significant market share gains we've made.
While other companies go through tough times because of supply shortages, Etsy is fairly resilient. The company serves as a platform for sellers who mostly make their products by hand.
Etsy has unique positioning. With over 5 million Etsy marketplace sellers distributed around the world, most businesses of one, and working from their homes. Further, over 90% of U.S. Etsy marketplace sellers tell us that they source their materials locally and have limited overhead.
NTD spoke with Etsy seller Mariana Liang, who owns Wicked Finch Farm.
I am kind of experiencing some of my supply shortages on main things like I make boozy jam and a lot of farm treats. So jars have been an issue, but otherwise packaging, creating signage, a lot of art supplies I've been able to find on Etsy.
Liang says she knows a lot of communities of other makers, and they can turn to each other for help. They lend supplies and help each other find things.
Also, they probably might have hoarded certain supplies that bigger, more mainstream companies may not have, so I've been able to source from there as well. Also, Etsy makers do things differently and on a different schedule, so they may not be buying huge swaths of the same supplies as larger, more commercial companies. So we're able to be more creative, we're able to be more resourceful, and we're used to trying to find things in difficult places. So that's why I think Etsy sellers in general are thriving right now.
Etsy's annual revenue doubled to $1.7 billion last year during the pandemic, and revenue has risen every quarter this year. Faye Quarter, NTD News.
What will the future of drug development look like? Google's parent company Alphabet is launching a new company in Britain, merging drug discovery and artificial intelligence. NTD's Faye Quarter has the details.
Alphabet's new company called Isomorphic Labs plans to use AI software to find new drugs. The company will work with AI lab DeepMind, which Google acquired in 2014. Identifying new drugs can be a long, complex trial and error process. Companies believe involving AI will accelerate the process at a low cost. However, experts are raising concerns about transparency and explainability. It means that even if researchers get a good and accurate model after testing and trial, it's still hard for AI to explain why it makes certain predictions.
The AI model cannot answer a very simple question, which is, why did you predict this person to do this? Or how do you know that this really will cure this particular disease?
Kumar Srinivas is the Chief Technology Officer of Health Plans at NTT Data. He thinks it's important to have explainable AI so people trust the decisions that are being made.
But if we can't explain the results, how are you going to explain that to the regulatory authorities, right? Or to the people as well, that you can do this?
Another problem is AI bias.
We've all seen the AI bias in face recognition, and not addressing bias can be a big problem, especially in this drug discovery field.
A study in 2019 showed that facial recognition technology especially has trouble recognizing Black and Asian faces. At least 3 men have been wrongfully arrested, and Srinivas suggests a wider range of data could help.
We have to make sure that you have a much wider variety of data and you're able to look at all the different aspects of not just where it works, but where it does not work.
A company spokesperson says instead of developing its own medicine, it may focus more on selling its models and building partnerships with pharmaceutical companies. Faye Quarter, NTD News.
And still to come this evening. Starbucks says there are 170,000 ways you can customize your drink, and social media influencers are taking it to the next level. And a whole community of 3D printed homes? That's what one home builder is planning. But where would it be and how would they do it? That and much more coming up on NTD Business.
Is deep sea fish oil really healthy? Due to pollution in the oceans, most fish contain heavy metal elements and radioactive substances. That's why it's so important to choose a pure source of omega-3. Puritan green vegetable omega-3 is made from purslane and perilla seeds, which are rich in nutrients and minerals, especially vitamins A, D, E, calcium, and iron. With natural processing and no harmful chemical additives, it has more than 90% concentration of omegas 3, 6, 7, and 9. It effectively improves brain power and is beneficial to the heart's health. Puritan omega-3 does not smell of fish and contains no pollutants, so both adults and children can safely and easily consume it over a long period of time. Puritan green vegetable omega-3. Eat 2 a day and you'll feel brand new.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. My employees and I want to personally thank each and every one of you for all of your support. At MyPillow, we not only have pillows, but we have hundreds of products, including my new slippers, bathrobes, sleepwear, and my new beds. We're offering the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. For example, we have this exclusive offer on the standard size My Pillows, regularly $69.98, now only $19.98 with your promo code. We also have the queen size My Pillows, regularly $79.98, now only $24.98 with your promo code. And we have the king size, regularly $89.98, now only $29.98 with your promo code. So go to mypillow.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive this exclusive offer.
Welcome back. With prices rising in grocery stores, some shoppers are heading to food banks or local farmers markets for better deals. NTD's Phil Zoe has more from Union Square in New York.
Prices may have gone up at some supermarkets, but what about your local farmers market? Today we're at the famous Green Market at Union Square, New York City.
Everything's gone up. It's unbelievable. To stay afloat, you know, it's not easy. No, everything is getting inflated, of course.
I haven't noticed a ton, but I also shop several times a week, so it can be hard to add it up.
NTD News spoke to Ken Alamo from Roaming Acres Farm in New Jersey. Because of higher processing costs, he had to raise the price of bacon from $8 for half a pound to $9. But customers are still loving it.
This thing is done right outside the city. You're getting something that's raised 40 minutes outside the city. It can't be any fresher than that.
His farm is also turning waste products into another business.
One of the things we do with our animals in order to minimize waste is all the leftover parts that we turn them into dog treats.
Karina Reichman is cooking for a party of 3 tonight.
Eggplant. I never bought eggplant in my life, but if I was going to, I'd hope I could afford it.
She's looking for a deal at the market, but it's getting harder.
When you're buying organic and you're buying all these things, it gets pricey. It totally just does, but I'd rather do that than eat a bunch of hormones, you know?
David, who just moved to New York from Boston, is staying positive.
I think it's pretty expected with everything that's been going on, so it's not really too surprising. I'm sure that it'll sort itself out over time, though.
One farmer told NTD News their gala apples have gone up to $2 per pound. Farmers market or supermarket, looks like prices are going up regardless. Phil Zoe, NTD News, New York.
Did you know today is National Doughnut Day? Well, of course, one of America's favorite treats gets its own day. Some fun facts: America eats 10 billion donuts a year. It's about 31 donuts per person. And do you know why there's a hole in the middle? They say people started to do that to help donuts cook more evenly. Another fun fact, there are actually 2 National Donut Days. The other one is in the first Friday of June. That day honors the Salvation Army, who served the pastry to soldiers during World War I. You check your local bakery or coffee shop to see what deals they might have. And talking about favorite treats, Starbucks is getting more and more orders of complex drinks trending on TikTok. Company even released an internal training video on how to handle the situation if a customer flashes an image of a viral drink. NTD's Ellen Lee has the details.
Social media influencers are dreaming up all kinds of fancy Starbucks drinks that are not only tasty but also Instagrammable. While the drinks appeal to Starbucks customers,
I've heard about some that are like cinnamon dolce that are not on the menu, and I tried it and it was good.
Oh yeah, so it had a really pretty gradient. I didn't understand that drink. I'd never seen a pink drink with a white top.
not everyone tries them.
One, I didn't want to inconvenience them, and also I'm kind of lazy.
I've seen them and I've been intrigued and I have saved a few of them, but honestly, the reason I don't is because I feel awkward, pulling up 10 steps on how to make a drink.
While they look pretty, there are complaints that they're hard to order, complex to make, and slow down service. Especially TikTok users are reportedly treating the Starbucks menu like a buffet of ingredients that can be mixed together to make new drinks. But are you really allowed to mix your drink whichever way you like?
Can I get a venti cold brew with caramel syrup and vanilla sweet cream foam? And there's also apple brown sugar in the foam, if you can mix it in. And then cinnamon dolce topping.
Starbucks says in addition to what's on the menu, there are more than 170,000 ways to customize the beverage. While the barista stayed very patient with me navigating through ingredients that weren't available, they're working under pressure. According to company policy, baristas have to make customers drink in a set period of time. Starbucks now says that it's going to increase staffing to handle the influx of all these labor-intensive drinks.
I actually got 2 special orders, and one of them is this pink drink, and the barista was actually pretty polite. Evelyn Lee, NTD News, New York.
Looks good. You've heard of tiny homes and manufactured homes. How about a 3D printed house? Well, one home builder is teaming up with a construction firm that specializes in 3D printed structures to build the world's largest neighborhood of printed homes. It'll be in Austin, Texas. The process works like this. A company called Icon will set up 5 46-foot wide robotic printers to pour the frames of the houses using concrete mix. Each house will take about a week. Then the builder will finish off the houses with roofs, windows, and doors. Advocates say this method is faster and cheaper than traditional construction and may produce less pollution. Critics warn existing building codes don't address the method and safety concerns could surface. And the Moroccan city of Fez is humming with activity once again for the city's thousands of artisans. It's a welcome sign that trade is slowly picking up again. NTD's Andrew Thomas reports.
In the ancient Moroccan city Fez, the sound of hammers hitting copper has returned. Activity is still below pre-pandemic levels, and master coppersmith Mohamed Kabi says he's thankful for the slow but continuing improvement.
After the coronavirus period, the situation is a little better. Not much, but thank God the situation is starting to improve. Not as it was, of course, because the market was completely dead.
The walled city, founded in 789, is home to 40,000 craftsmen. Their trades include metalwork, brass etching, wood carving, and leatherwork.
I was raised with this profession and learned it when I was just 6 years old. My father and grandfather taught me. They were weavers, and I still practice it until this day.
A lack of tourists and domestic visitors during the pandemic forced many to find other work, and some continue to struggle.
We have been through a difficult COVID-19 period. I personally did not open my shop for 14 months. I did not benefit from anything. I did not take anything from the state because it was in difficult circumstances. But since then, we did not find anyone to ask about us or provide us with facilities, aid, or advertisement for our industry.
But Fez's ancient markets are gradually reviving after domestic travel restrictions were eased. But with direct flights from Britain, Germany, and the Netherlands recently suspended over pandemic concerns, the tourism slump could return. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
That's the latest business updates for this week. You can still catch NTD Evening News with Stephanie Cox at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. For NTD Business, it's all for this week. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.